So Sony have actually just released a secret sale on the PlayStation Store. I have no idea why you would release a secret sale on the PlayStation Store, but for some reason in Europe and Australia and New Zealand you can see these hot deals sale which is on at the moment with a bunch of discounts. But in the US, it's not on the PlayStation 5, it's not on the PlayStation 4, and it's not on the PlayStation app or on the PlayStation web store.
What the fuck?
The deal just doesn't exist. But you can still access the deals and the offers in the sale. You just can't browse them on the PlayStation store because that would be way too simple. So I guess it's my job to break down the hot deals sale, which is a lot colder than you would probably think, and have a look at all these deals. Let's take a look at them all, guys. Hey folks, if you're a new viewer of the channel, hit the subscribe button down below. Last time I told you guys to do that in the previous sale video, we saw a massive surge of subscribers from my unsubscribed viewer base, and we've actually moved the percentage from 75% unsubscribed all the way to 73% unsubscribed. So it's working, you guys are listening. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below. Join the family. Make sure you don't miss out on any of the deal videos I make, and make me smile at the end of the day, because if you don't subscribe, I'm a very sad boy. Don't forget to leave a like as well. In the video where I asked people to leave likes, we got over 1,000 likes, which is the most I've ever had on a single video before. It blew my mind. You guys are crazy, and thank you so much for doing that for me. But leave a comment down below too, actually. Let me know which games you're picking up at the moment or which games you're playing, or if you're after a game recommendation, I'm thinking of doing another series about game recommendations where I can take your recommendations and pull them into a video. What do you guys think about that? Would you want to see something like that? Would you want to be featured in a video? Let me know down below. Like I said, there's this weird thing that Sony have done where they've got this hot deals sale, but they haven't promoted it in any way, shape, or form on the US PlayStation Store, which means that the deals just exist on the store, but you can't find them. It's just stupid. I don't even know why Sony bothered. Don't even bother doing the sale if you're not going to bother promoting it, because how are people supposed to find it? I've gone through and looked at a bunch of stuff in this sale, and there's some weird things going on here anyway to begin with. So we have Fallout 4, right? This is a game that goes discounted pretty frequently. Don't buy this, by the way, don't buy this. It's $8.99 on the US PlayStation Store. It's free if you own a PlayStation 5 though, so it's not really worth investing in at this point unless you're not getting a PS5 anytime soon. The weirdest part is that if you go onto the Australian PlayStation Store, which is using Australian dollars, the game is $7.48. So it's actually cheaper on the Australian PlayStation Store, which never happens because the US dollar is so much stronger than the Australian dollar. So US store it's $8.99. Australian store it's $7.48, which translated into US dollars is $5.77. What? What even is that, right? So that's the first thing that I found weird. So keep an eye on some of these things. There might be some weird pricing discrepancies here, but I feel like Fallout should have been a $5 game at this point anyway. Now the other thing that is worth pointing out in this sale as well, before we get on to the rest of the deals, and I've got like 15 or 20 deals to look at here, is the EA games. So you've got Star Wars Battlefront 2 here for $7.99, which is a pretty good price, even though it was free on PlayStation Plus a while back. Or Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare for $3.99, which is an awesome third-person shooter, by the way. Great game, worth checking out. They're both pretty reasonably priced. $8, $4, good prices for these games. The thing is, you can actually get these games both for less than $2. So if you go onto the EA Access page on the PlayStation Store, you can get the 1 month access to EA Access for $1.95. And this gives you access to all of the EA catalog of games. And there's actually a bunch of stuff on there. Pretty much any EA game that came out on the PlayStation 4, except for the sports titles, not all of them are on there, are included in EA Access. And these two games are part of that as well. So it's actually a way cheaper way of getting these games. Just remember, if you do sign up for EA Access at $1.95 to cancel the subscription as soon as you've signed up, that way it won't recharge your card at the end of the month for a following month, because you have to sign up indefinitely. But if you cancel the subscription immediately, it won't continue to charge you, and you'll just get EA Access for a month, and you'll be able to play all of the EA games you want for $2, which is a really, really good deal. So check that out if you're wanting to buy some of the EA titles on this list, because it's a really solid price. Okay, now some of the good deals here. We've got Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice for less than $10. This game doesn't get discounted very frequently, and now that the studio is owned by Microsoft, we might not see it get discounted frequently either. So for $10, this is a great price. Awesome third-person narrative-driven action game. It has all these psychological elements, so if you're into those psychological thriller-style games, this is a great one to check out. And for less than $10, this is a very good deal. I would say this is probably the best deal on the entire sale, so it's worth checking out. I loved this game when I played it back in 2017, I think. Might have been 2018. Really, really solid experience, and one that I highly recommend. 7 Days to Die is also really well discounted. It's $5.99. This is a roguelike survival game. So I guess picture it as a realistic version of Minecraft with zombies in it, and you've kind of got that. The cool thing about this is for $6, you're getting an endless amount of content. You can play it with friends online, you can play it by yourself, and because it's all procedural and changes and it's about survival, when you die you lose all your stuff, you've got to build bases and things. You can just play this for an indefinite amount of time. So if you're looking for value in terms of a game that's going to last you ages, this has got a ton of mechanics in it and content that will last you a really long time. So good one to check out for people on a budget who might be wanting something to play for a while. This is a guilty pleasure of mine, Ziggurat, and it's probably a game a lot of you guys haven't heard of before. Again, another procedural roguelike game where you play through these gauntlet dungeon things. There's a bunch of different classes you play as. You gain loot every time you go in, you level up, and you basically just hold down a trigger button and fire. It's a first-person game that uses these mage-like mechanics. I guess you play as a mage, and it's really neat. It's an indie budget game. It's only a couple of bucks on the PlayStation Store. This is something I played back in 2014, 2015, so it might not hold up super well in 2020, but back when I played it, I really, really did have a good time with it. So I would recommend checking this one out if you're looking for something really light and simple to play. No narrative, no story, but a lot of content that you can continue to replay as well to slowly get better. Middleearth Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition is also on sale. I've been turning people off this game for the last wee while because the trophies were unobtainable, but recently they patched the online trophies despite the servers being turned off, so Monolith has done a really good job with this. This game is discounted, and it's a good price for it if you want to check this one out. The previous one was on, well, no, sequel to this was on PlayStation Plus a couple of months back, so maybe you played that and you want to play the original. Now's your chance to go back and do that. Now, if Hellblade isn't the best deal in this sale, then Surge 2 absolutely is. This game is such a fun game. If you like Dark Souls, but you're wanting a different setting for Dark Souls, this is more of a futuristic sci-fi version of Dark Souls with robots instead of monsters, but giant monstrous robots as well. So it's a really neat one to check out if you're looking for something like that. I would say that Surge 2 is probably the next best thing on this entire hot deals, or cold deals as I'm going to call them, sale. There are a couple of Assassin's Creed games here as well for $8.99, which is a pretty good price, less than $10 for Assassin's Creed Syndicate and Unity. Not probably the best Assassin's Creed games, probably two of the more under the radar games. They were early PS4 generation titles, but they're Assassin's Creed games, which means you're getting a massive game here, 60, 70, 80 hours worth of content for $9. So if you're looking for a game to play that's going to last you the whole month or maybe a couple of months, Assassin's Creed is a high quality franchise. They generally release relatively high quality games. Unity did have some problems at launch, but it's obviously all fixed now. Then you know what you're coming in and getting here for a cheap price, so maybe it's worth your time, especially if maybe you've played the newer Assassin's Creed games and you're wanting to go back to some of the older ones. This is a good chance to do that too. Elix is a weird sci-fi RPG game that melds these fantasy elements and these sci-fi elements together. This is a love it or hate it situation, and for $15, I don't think it's worth picking up. If it was 10, I would probably be more inclined to recommending this one, but for 15, I think it's just a little bit high. It's a weird one that I did really enjoy, but the game is flawed in many, many ways. It's a AA style game, so it does have significant problems, but there's fun to be had here, especially if you kind of dig past that a little bit and give it a bit of a chance. It is quite cool, but for $15, it's a little bit hard of a pill to swallow, especially when you've got something like Hellblade or Surge 2, which are cheaper games than this. It's just something I can't say go out and buy, but I think it's a game that I want to mention and keep on your radar for when it does get a little bit cheaper. Saints Row 4 Re-elected is also discounted really heavily. Older game, obviously. This was a PS3 game that got ported to the PS5, but it's a really cool superhero style Saints Row game. Probably not the best in the Saints Row franchise, but you know, super cheap, $4. Massive open world game here with like 30 hours worth of content. Same with Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the original Dragon Ball game. If you're a weeb like me who loves Dragon Ball, I don't even think I have Dragon Ball stuff in my background now. It's great. This is a 3D sort of narrative-driven Dragon Ball game where it's a fighting beat-em-up style game, I suppose, where you play as a created character of your own, fighting with the Z Warriors in their battles through the Dragon Ball Z universe. The Xenoverse games were actually really neat. The second one is a lot better than the first one, but it's $4. It's a great title to check out. I think there's actually a demo for Xenoverse 2 on the store for free, and you'll get a vibe from that as well if you want to check that out for free. I didn't even know this existed, PC Building Simulator, which I thought was kind of a funny one to mention. I don't know what this is, but I guess if you're wanting to go and build a inferior gaming console, then you could pick up PC Building Simulator and play it on your PS4, which is obviously a far superior gaming console. I mean, yeah. It is. Okay, so for trophy hunters, there's a bunch of really easy platinum trophy games in the sale as well. Two that are quite high value games, I would say, is Concept Destruction and Freddy Spaghetti. These are both Radalika titles, so remember, that's very low budget games. They're pretty average games, but they're the two best games that Radalika have ever published, in my personal opinion. Concept Destruction is like a Demolition Derby style game. It's like a half-hour platinum, and Freddy Spaghetti is like this Katamari Donut County style game, which is kind of fun as well. I think it's like an hour and a half platinum or something like that, so it's a little bit longer, but both of them are pretty decent games. The thing about these two is they're actually both PS5 games as well, so they're probably the cheapest PS5 games you'll be able to pick up at the moment, and you get a platinum list on the PS4 and the PS5 if you buy both of these, so you'll essentially be getting 2 platinum trophies for each of these games on PS4 and PS5. There's also a bunch of other easy platinum games like Lego Jurassic Park, Lego Incredibles, Lego Hobbit. All the Lego games play very similarly. They're all reasonably priced here, less than $10. Lego games are essentially like a hack and slash collectathon game. You have to 100% everything in the game, but pretty fun games based on these properties. They all play the same. There's normally like a few gimmicks in them, but generally speaking, they're all the same. So any of these are pretty good to check out. Cars 3 is also a really cool kart racing game. It's budget for sure, but it's a lot better than some of the other kart racing games. I mean, if Crash Team Racing is like the peak over here, it's still like down here, but there's a bunch of stuff way lower than that, and it does have some pretty easy trophies as well, so if you're looking for a couple of platinum trophies to get, you can check these out. Sherlock Holmes and the Devil's Daughter is also $5. I always recommend this one. Really cool third-person, like, narrative style crime solving game. You know what Sherlock Holmes is, right? So worth checking out there. They're like the good platinum trophies in this sale, and then obviously like all the Radalika games are also discounted as well, so if you're wanting any of those like 10-minute platinums, 5-minute platinums, half-hour platinums, all of those are discounted too here between Radalika and East Asia Soft, which they traditionally kind of compete. They're all discounted here, but a couple of notable ones are Gun Crazy, pretty straightforward 15-minute platinum trophy. Many Faces, same situation, 15-20-minute platinum trophy here, both sort of 2D side-scrolling games. Then you've got the visual novels, The Language of Love. This is the platinum trophy game where you don't actually even have to play the game, you just boot it up, turn it on, and let it run for like 10 minutes, I think, or 5 minutes, and you get a platinum trophy for doing nothing, so free platinum trophy there. Fragments of Midnight is another one. This is actually not too bad as well, where you play as a little cube thing, bouncing around the environment. So a couple of pretty easy platinum trophy games. Those are the ones that I've kind of called out specifically here, but pretty much every single Radalika game is discounted. If you want to know about more of those Radalika games, I did another video up here, which covers over every single Radalika easy platinum trophy you can earn and how long and what's required to do it. So if you want to check that out, you can click on the link up here and you can figure out which ones are easy and which ones are going to be harder, because not all of them are 5 or 10 minute platinum. Some of them take a couple of hours, so keep that in mind, because the games aren't very good and you don't want to be playing a couple of hours if you don't have to be. That's the sale in a nutshell. It's a weird one because for some reason it's just not promoted anywhere. I don't know why that's the case, and there's a bunch of stuff that's kind of good in here, but nothing really amazing. There's no really good deals. If I was to call out anything specific, I'm going to say Hellblade. Good price for Hellblade because it's never discounted, so check that out. Surge 2 is also a really good game, and that does come down quite frequently, but a really good game and a good price for it. And 7 Days to Die, pretty good game as well. And you're getting a bunch of content in here for $6, so worth your time for sure. Anyway, hopefully this was helpful. Make sure you hit the subscribe button down below if it was. Leave me a comment in the comment section. Don't forget to leave a like as well. Helps me out enormously. And I'll see all you gamers in the next one.